Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. How are you guys? So in last class we completed the discussion of buck converter and have seen also its example how we can use a buck converter in case of maximum power point tracking application. We have also discussed about the harmonics, how to eliminate those harmonics using input filter and output inductor capacitor filter. And then we have find out the uh, current ratings of all components as well as the voltage ratings of all the components. So for inductor current, we have selected 9 amperes. For capacitor voltage, we have selected 250 volts. For output capacitor, we have selected 5 amperes. And for diode and MOSFET voltage, we have selected 200 and 250. And then for MOSFET and diode current, we should have taken 9 amperes, but because of the spikes and safe operating area, we will select higher current so that we have ensured that the circuit is going to operate even in worst case conditions. And then we find out the values of critical capacitance, critical inductance, as well as the value of actual capacitor and inductor when we are given with the required ripple factors. So in case of ripple factor is 5% for voltage, that means from 16 multiplied by 5%, we get the ripple equal to 0.8 volt. Similarly, for current, ripple factor is given as 10%. So therefore, 8.1 ampere current multiplied by 0.1 gives us 0.8 ampere current ripple. And for that 0.8 amperes current ripple, we get the value of inductance, which is around 400 microhenry. So now let's talk about next converter, which is basically a step-up converter from buck to boost. How we can change if we change the position of inductor. So from third place, inductor comes at first place, then switch comes from first place to second place, diode second to third, and then we have the boost converter. So we just shuffle three basic components, that is switch, diode, and inductor. And we can see that capacitor is all the time connected in parallel with the load. So therefore, the location of capacitor is fixed, whereas other component, their location is going to change from one converter to another converter. So now let's talk about a little bit worst case scenario for the boost converter. Boost converter is not as simple as buck converter, and because of the extreme duty cycles, it can be damaged very easily, and that can be done if we put the MOSFET in always on position. So therefore, the duty cycle in this case approaches 1. Then MOSFET is going to on for whole complete cycle 100%. and then it would short circuit the supply. The input voltage is going to short circuited by the inductor and MOSFET. So therefore, inductor will charge to a very large amount of current, which can damage the MOSFETs. So therefore, we have to limit the duty cycle that it should not go to unity, or it should not approach even get closer to the unity. Second problem of this circuit is because it's a step-up circuit. So when we are stepping up the voltage, it is going to dump in the capacitor. And if there is no load connected, so capacitor voltage will keep on rising without decreasing or without supplying any current to the load. So therefore, high voltage of the capacitor can damage the diode as well as the MOSFET. So in case if there is R infinity, that is the load side becomes open. Okay? So therefore we have to make sure these two things never happen. So we have to connect the load with the boost converter solidly without any loose connections, and secondly we have to make sure that the duty cycle is never approaching unity. So therefore when we start the boost converter and it passes through the transient, we should make sure that the duty cycle starts from a minimum value and then it's increased and go to the required duty cycle. And the other one is the load should be solidly connected. There should not be any loose connections between the converter and the load. So as we have seen, the boost converter is not forgiving or very stringent type of boost converter, or it could go in instability mode very easily. So therefore we have to look at few things more. First of all, we should not get the step up ratio too high. So we have to limit our output voltage. For example, the input voltage is 10 and we want the output voltage to be 100. So the ratio between output and input becomes 10 times. So that cannot be done using the boost converter. So for this, the duty cycle has to be very high, close to unity. So therefore, we cannot put the circuit in damaging or in a risk. So therefore, the maximum limit for output voltage versus input gain, which is also called boost factor, should not be higher than 5. Boost factor and because we are boosting up the voltage, therefore we are using this boost factor. Sometimes it is denoted as B or sometimes it can be denoted as G. So that is the voltage gain output versus input voltage gain. As we know, in steady state, when this circuit approaches that state, the voltages across inductor, average voltage across inductor becomes 0 and average current across capacitor becomes 0. So therefore, from this steady state value, we can find out the equation for voltage output versus input voltage. So we'll do that in a while. And first, let's see what we are doing is, first step is mode 1, when we close the switch. And therefore, we have applied a duty cycle to the MOSFET. And now we are working in on time duration. So therefore, now we have put the ground on the drain side of the MOSFET. So therefore, the inductor becomes grounded as far as the switch is closed, and the anode side of the diode is also grounded. So therefore, the diode becomes reverse biased, and therefore this point is open. So there is no connection between the inductor right side terminal and the capacitor. So inductor gets charged separately, whereas the capacitor gets discharged separately. So there is no involvement from the input side to the output side. So therefore, if we want to find out the change in current, we can find it through di by dt, L divided by dt. So we convert L on the other side. So therefore, it gives us the current slope, rising current slope from a minimum to maximum, and the slope becomes V in by L. So this is during on time. So again, we have to be careful. If switch stays closed, the input becomes short circuited, and therefore it can damage the MOSFET or maybe supply. Second mode is when MOSFET is open.
सर उसका ये अगर ये स्विच ओपन हो तो ये शॉर्ट सर्किट हो सकता है।
अगर स्विच क्लोज हो जाए, यानी कि ये बंद हो, ऑन हो स्विच, तो फिर ये इंडक्टर जो है ये सप्लाई को शॉर्ट सर्किट कर देगा।
सर मैं कह रहा हूँ कि आपने कहा कि अगर ये शॉर्ट सर्किट हो तो कब तक
मतलब
कितने टाइम इसमें वो
पूरा एक ड्यूटी साइकिल के लिए, अगर हमारे पास टोटल एक टाइम पीरियड है, तो अगर हम इस पूरे टाइम के लिए स्विच को ऑन करते हैं, ठीक है, अगर हम उसको जो पल्स प्रोवाइड करें वो डिसकंटिन्यूस पल्स ना हो, वो कंटिन्यूस पल्स हो जाए, तो फिर उस केस में फॉर वन टाइम पीरियड, ठीक है, तो ये सप्लाई को शॉर्ट सर्किट कर देगा। सिमिलरली इन अदर टाइम पीरियड, अगर हमने इसको चेंज नहीं किया तो देयर इज अ चांस कि सप्लाई या मॉसफेट जो है वो खुद ही डैमेज हो जाए। Any other question? Similarly, in second mode, we are going to open the switch. Now switch is in off mode, and we are applying T of time for the switch, and therefore again we can find out the L di by dt and finding the slope di by dt, which will become in this case V in minus V out. How this becomes V out and how diode becomes forward biased, provided this side is high and this side is low, how the diode becomes forward biased? Why this anode side of the diode is low? Because from this side input voltage is coming, ठीक है, और ये चूंकि स्टेप अप कन्वर्टर है तो हमारा जो V out है that is all the time greater or at least equal to the input voltage. ठीक है, so therefore if we consider V out higher than input voltage, then this side is all the time going to be high and anode side is going to be low. Then why this, even in this condition, diode is forward biased? Why? Any ideas? Just remember that there is inductor, and when we are closing, opening the switch after it was closed, inductor is going to produce LDI by dt effect, therefore a voltage spike. Okay, so that voltage spike will enable the diode to become forward biased, and diode will inductor will able to dump the energy into the capacitor, even though the voltage difference is there, but the forward bias of the diode depends on di by dt, L di by dt, change in current. And due to this change in current, there is a spike in the voltage, and that voltage would make this diode forward biased. ठीक है, otherwise आप देखें there is no other current path available for the inductive current. So if inductor is charged and there is no current path, then it would produce a voltage spike. And because there is a diode connected, so due to the LDI by dt effect, this diode is going to conduct and provide path for inductor current. So now in this case, inductor current becomes equal to the diode current, or you can say diode current in this case is equal to the inductor current, and from diode current we can find out the value of I out and IC. Okay, because inductor current is going to flow for whole cycle. In one, when the mode 1 is there, inductor current is going to rise, and then inductor current is going to fall. But the diode current is non-zero only when the inductor current is falling. So therefore inductor current only partially provides energy to the output side. Okay, so only for this duration energy is transferred from the inductor to the capacitor through diode. So therefore diode current is responsible for whatever current is flowing in the output side, in the load current, or in the capacitor current. ये पॉइंट समझ आया? जैसे हमने प्रीवियस स्टेप में कहा कि इंडक्टर जो है वो सेपरेट हो गया जिस वक्त डायोड फॉरवर्ड रिवर्स बायस है मोड 1 में। सो देयरफॉर अब जो डायोड करंट है दैट इज 0 एंड कैपेसिटर करंट इज इक्वल टू दी आउटपुट करंट। ठीक है, सो यानी कि कैपेसिटर जो है वो डिस्चार्ज होगा और लोड को करंट प्रोवाइड करेगा। और चूंकि सिर्फ कैपेसिटर ही इस वक्त एक्टिंग एज अ सोर्स, देयरफॉर द टोटल करंट ऑफ कैपेसिटर इज इक्वल टू द आउटपुट करंट बट नेगेटिव इन डायरेक्शन। ठीक है, कैपेसिटर करंट पॉजिटिव कब होगा? जब करंट जो है वो पॉजिटिव से नेगेटिव में जाए, लेकिन जब कैपेसिटर डिस्चार्ज होगा तो दैट इज द नेगेटिव करंट ऑफ द कैपेसिटर विच इज इक्वल टू द आउटपुट करंट। So therefore, diode current would be like this: 0 when the switch is open, switch is closed, and then diode current becomes a spike like this for 1 minus d into t. Okay, so during t of time, energy is transferred from inductor to capacitor. So therefore, this energy has to be large enough so that कैपेसिटर वोल्टेज इज मेंटेन, क्योंकि इसने करंट प्रोवाइड करना है। तो देयरफॉर इट्स वोल्टेज शुड बी मेंटेन एंड दैट would be maintained only if the capacitor gets required charge in brief period of time. So now let's get the average voltage across inductor, and that should be 0. So what happens is when inductor current is getting charged, so its current rises, and therefore di by dt of that is a constant line. Okay, and then when it is discharging, the slope is negative and it's acting as a ramp. So therefore again the di by dt of that is a constant line, but because of the negative slope the voltage is going to be negative. And because the voltage the circuit is operating in steady state mode, so therefore the areas of the voltage and in positive and negative cycles, they are going to be equal. So therefore this voltage is because of the eon time duty cycle times input voltage, and whereas in 1 minus dt the voltage across inductor is Vin minus V out multiplied by duty cycle. Whereas in in on time in mode 1 the voltage is duty cycle times Vn. So now getting both voltages equal to 0 gives us the average, give us the relationship between input and output voltage. So the boost factor or the voltage gain in this case is V out over V in. Let's call it boost factor or voltage gain, and that is going to be 1 over 1 minus D. So let's suppose, as we said earlier, the realistic upper limit for the boost converter is 5 times. So boost factor should not be higher than 5. So if we need a higher gain, we have to apply 2 boost converters in series. So we connect one boost converter, step up the voltage, and then use another boost converter to step up the voltage. So maximum we can apply is 5 times the input voltage, and to get the 10 gain, 10 times increasing the voltage, we are going to use 2 boost converters, so that both boost converters have 5 times boost factor, or the voltage gain is 5 times the input voltage. Only then we can increase from one single voltage to 10 times. So therefore, there comes the limit of the duty cycle. So duty cycle cannot be larger than the 80%, because if we keep the duty cycle high, there is efficiency also involved, and is the function of duty cycle, and the ratio between the parasitic resistances and the load. So parasitic resistance like RC, R inductor divided by R load, R out कर दूं, ठीक है? So therefore the efficiency is now depending on the duty cycle. So if duty cycle is approaching unity, efficiency approaches 0. So therefore there is a limit for the duty cycle. So even at the duty cycle equal to 0.8 or 80%, sometimes the efficiency could be less than 50%. So therefore the result is going to be similar to the voltage divider circuit. Just like in a voltage divider circuit, we had efficiency very low, but obviously in voltage divider circuit, we cannot step up the voltage. Any question regarding this slide?
Sir, last point,
Sure. Because we have inductor as a wire, bounded wire, so therefore the length of this wire has some small resistance that is called RL. Similarly, a capacitor also has some parasitic resistance or ESR in series with the capacitance value. So this resistor is creating the loss, and therefore that loss does not allow us to go for very high frequency if we operate at very high duty cycle. Okay? So therefore instead of using one buck converter to get to the 10 times voltage ratio, we can use multiple boost converters so that their efficiency is higher. Let's say if I keep the voltage gain low, around duty cycle 50%, there the efficiency is going to be around 90%. So again, the other side also has 90%. So the overall efficiency could be around 80%. But if we try to achieve 10 gain, 10 times increase the voltage within one converter, then the efficiency of a single converter. So we have input voltage, we want the output voltage 10 times bigger input voltage, then the efficiency drops to a very lower value that could be around 50%, depending upon the resistance ratio of parasitic components and the load. Okay? So therefore, we can use smaller duty cycle multiple boost converters to get the required gain, and still we can maintain high efficiency. Okay, so now let's look at the inductor current. So as we have talked about that when the switch is closed, the inductor current gets charged. So therefore, the inductor current slope is V in by L, and then inductor current gets discharged because of the V in minus V out divided by L. So this is falling slope, V in by L is rising slope. And as we discussed that inductor current is connected to the all the time connected to the input supply. So therefore, inductor current in one mode, inductor current is connected to the short circuited by the switch, and in second mode, the inductor is connected to the capacitor and the load. So this is mode 1 when switch is closed, when we have duty cycle, and this is mode 2 when we have 1 minus V into T. So therefore you can see that inductor current is all the time connected with the supply. So therefore inductor's average current of the inductor is going to be equal to the input current. Whereas in buck converter, we remember that the average inductor current was equal to the load current. Okay? So this is difference between the boost and the buck converter. So inductor current gives us all the information of all components current, but it also gives us the different information as far as average current is concerned. Okay? So this average current in this case is now input current. So we can now find out the ripple current delta IL, and that can be done using the rising slope. Also, it can be done using the falling slope. So V in by L into duty cycle times T is the using the rising slope, and the delta I ripple can be found out using V in minus V out divided by L into 1 minus D into T. So T can be changed as the frequency of the circuit, so we can take it down. Therefore, if we want to find out the average value of the current, inductor current, that is going to be the half of the ripple plus the minimum current, or it is going to be the in the middle of the inductor current. So now let's look at the inductor current with respect to the switch current and diode current. So the red color shows when the switch is on and inductor is getting charged. So this current waveform like this is for the switch. So this is switch current, and when the switch is off, the diode becomes forward biased, and therefore diode conducts the current, and that current is like this. So we have maximum peak from which inductor starts discharging, and then up to the minimum current value, and then inductor current goes to 0 when again the switch is closed. So therefore, the load side supply current is coming from the diode current. So from here onwards, the supply current or the source current becomes the diode current, not the inductor current. But we are taken diode current from inductor current during the off time. So diode current in this case gives us the information of the load current as well as the capacitor current. So capacitor current, how we can find it out, is basically the diode current in which the output current becomes 0. So in this green waveform, we have output current, which is obviously very small as compared to the input current, because if we are increasing the voltage 5 times, the current ratio between output and input is also decreasing 5 times. So therefore output current lies very low, and therefore if we put the output current equal to 0, we get the waveform of the capacitor current. And you can find out that during duty cycle, the capacitor current is negative, because when switch is closed, diode is reverse biased and capacitor is giving the current. All the current is needed by the load is given by the capacitor. So therefore a DC value, a DC current is given to the load by the capacitor, and then it gets charged. So therefore in duty cycle D, capacitor discharges, and in 1 minus D into T, capacitor gets charged. Any question regarding this slide? So let's move on and find out the inductor current rating, just like we have done in the previous scenario. So again, we are taking the worst case scenario. If the ripple is twice of the input current, because in this case now the average of inductor current is the input current. Okay, so worst case scenario of that would be when the inductor current is operating at boundary condition. It touches 0 for 1 instant and then it starts rising again. So this is called the boundary of continuous and discontinuous conduction mode. Boundary of CCM and DCM. At that moment, the ripple is going to be very large compared to the input current. And we know for this waveform, the RMS value is going to be 2 divided by under root 3 multiplied by the input current. So this formula is very similar to the buck converter. So the derivation, everything is similar to the buck converter. Only the average current is not equal to output current. In this case, average inductor current is equal to the input current. So only this is the difference between the current rating of boost converter and current rating of the buck converter. We just taken the same. So here we had output current for the buck. The RMS current was sum of average, which is the output current, and peak to peak ripple, 1 by 12 times peak to peak ripple, or delta I square. So delta I in this case is the input current, twice of the input current. Sorry, there should not be any delta. So twice of the input current, and therefore if we combine both terms, we get 4 by 3, and after taking the square root, we get the 2 divided by under root 3 input current. So this is for the boost. And the first one is for the buck converter. Only the difference is average current, which is in case of buck output current, and average current in case of boost is the input current. Similarly, we can find out the similar scenario for the capacitor current. And we know the negative side we have I out, but on the other side the peak could be 2 times input current minus I out, because the peak is equal to twice of the input current. ये वाली स्लाइड पूरी ये आवाज आ रही?
जी सर, आवाज आ रही है।
अच्छा, चलें। सो यहाँ पे हम इस स्लाइड में वी आर फाइंडिंग आउट द कैपेसिटर करंट रेटिंग, ठीक है? एंड टू फाइंड आउट द कैपेसिटर करंट रेटिंग, व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू डू इज we will consider the diode current as worst case scenario. So delta I inductor is equal to twice of the input current. So therefore the peak is equal to 2 times the input current. समझ आ गई? And then from diode current we take out the output current. So we subtract output current from the peak as well, and therefore we have 2 in minus I out, and on the negative side we have minus I DC I out. So to find out again the current rating of the capacitor. We use the capacitor current as equal to the input current. ठीक है? Okay. So for MOSFET and diode current rating, we'll just go for the RMS value of the inductor current, and in this case that is 2 by under root 3 I in. Okay, and then obviously we take the safety margin. We keep in view that we have the peak is going to be twice of the input current, and then we also need to have a safe margin. So therefore the diode and MOSFET current rating could be very high compared to inductor current. Similarly, if we look at the voltage ratings of the diode and MOSFET and capacitor, so we see output voltage because that is high side voltage. So therefore that is coming to be appear across the MOSFET, diode and capacitor. And we then take the safety margin twice the output voltage for the all three components. ठीक है जी. सो बाकी फिर हम डिस्कशन जो है वो नेक्स्ट क्लास में करेंगे. यहाँ तक अभी हमने बूस्ट कन्वर्टर की वर्किंग को देख लिया, हाउ द इंडक्टर करंट कैन हेल्प अस आउट फाइंडिंग आउट द करंट वेवफॉर्म्स ऑफ ऑल द कंपोनेंट्स. सारे करंट हमने फाइंड कर लिए, करंट रेटिंग फाइंड कर ली एंड वोल्टेज रेटिंग ऑल्सो फाइंड कर ली. ठीक है. सो बाकी जो है वो हम नेक्स्ट क्लास में इंशाल्लाह डिस्कस करेंगे.